Hello there, welcome back to a new episode of We Have Been Watching Podcast, where this week we are talking about Return of the Jedi. Here's the salacious crumb to my Jabba the Hutt. I'm here with Rob. Hello, Rob.
I'm not sure if you're offending me or yourself.
I don't know, Rob. I was getting
if I was doing the intro, so I'd refer to you as the, to insult you, I'd refer to you as the special edition Max Rebo band compared to the original theatrical edition Max Rebo band.
No, you've lost me a little bit on there. I was going to say, here's the Rancor keeper to my Rancor. Maybe that could have been something.
Well, the Max, the band who playing Jabba's Palace.
Yes, yeah.
Well, that's different, isn't it, than in the original version?
Yeah.
Oh my God, we'll get to that bit.
We will get. So,
to be honest, I do. Show my cards early here, but after the huge loving that we had about Empire Strikes Back, I think I'm back to ripping Star Wars apart again.
Yeah, again, full disclaimer, we love Star Wars, we love it, but yeah, so again, I went back and looked at our Empire notes, and it was all, love this, love that, and I started off with this, and I was like, number one, soft focus. Number two, Gamora and Guards look really, really puppety. So yeah, so here we are.
You know what? My first note for this.
Go on.
First boring start.
Boring start. So
Vader. The opening for this is Vader turning up. Ships flying, the ship's landing, the landing platform's coming down. Vader. I'm like, oh come on, Vader's turned up.
I was okay with it.
Move on.
Yeah. So I wonder if it's got a Mandalorian thing where you've got the planet side is fine, but it's like Tatooine again. It's Jabba's palace again. I think you mentioned about the multiple people turning up at Jabba's front gate.
It's just the pacing of it is, the structure of the stars. Vader turns up, droids turn up, Princess Leia's boost turns up, then Luke turns up. So I just felt this is going on too long. Then you've got the awful inserts of Boba Fett flirting with women.
Oh.
And when he touches her chin.
It was dad flirting, wasn't it?
It doesn't even fit with the character that we've seen in Book of Boba Fett now. But then we're watching in chronological order, so from this point of view, I suppose you can't think of it like that.
No.
And the new version of this. What's she called? Sy Snootles.
I'm so glad you said that. So I wrote in my notes, is it Sy Snootles? And I thought I'll ask Rob because he knows the names of all of these.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Sy Snootles and the Max. Max Rebo.
That was agonising.
Max Rebo's the blue elephant, and then the guy playing the wind instrument, whatever he's meant to be playing, is Droopy McCool, if I remember right.
So I like Jabba. I like Bib Fortuna.
It's a great puppet, isn't it? When you think about it.
I love Jabba's voice. I love the style. I really don't want to razz on Return of the Jedi very much, but
I do.
We're watching, and my wife was like, "Why are they all overacting so much?" And I was like, "There's a lot of sort of ham going on." I did like, I've always liked Han being unfrozen. Although, and then they pull back the curtain, it's like we're all beyond.
Oh dear! And not just the one curse, because that's hilarious. I don't remember ever thinking that was that bad before. So I couldn't just help think that they've just thought, she might try and defrost Han tonight. So they've stood behind that curtain
for 5
keeping
hours,
quiet.
Yeah.
But then a curtain draws on the other side. It's got a load of the Cantina members all standing behind there. So I'm just thinking, how stupid was she to walk downstairs and they're all like sniggering, going, shh, she's coming, everyone be quiet.
So, saying all this, right, fair enough. I did like seeing the sort of real effects, though, of your Gamorrean guards. Obviously, all of your droids are, I'm air quoting again, real, aren't they?
Isn't a force choking a Sith?
Well, this is it. I mean, is he...
The Gamorrean guard?
I don't know. I don't know whether... Yeah, did they teach force choking? What is it, Rob? And I wish I'd remembered this before we watched the first... What are we on now? Episode 6, are we?
Yeah.
The outside of Jabba's palace, you got that sort of giant frog, is it? And something, and it whips its tongue out and eats a bug or something, and then it burps. I've seen that in Boba Fett. isn't it there's always a bigger fish thing in Phantom Menace? Is that a regular Lucas thing, having an animal eating a big animal and burping?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, when you've got these like outside shots and there's like a little bit of life in the corner doing something. Yeah, I don't know whether that's in some other ones.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I did feel the Rancor was quite good, but I noticed you put in our notes, it's like very slow moving.
Yeah, it is. And it's moving in slow motion, and cut to Luke just standing there going.
So I did look when this film came out. So this came out, what, 83, I think it was. So I was 13. I remember going to the cinema. It's our cinema straight bingo hall that we watched this in. I remember it being so exciting and so, speeder bikes, chases and Rancors and that. It's very, very sort of like underwhelming now, isn't it? And I don't know if I'm being unfair to it.
It's not as well made, is it? It's as the script isn't as sharp as Empire. The direction, we were talking about just things like colour palettes in Empire. We were saying about this, how there seems to be a really nice colour palette, and there's some shots in it which you could put on a poster. There's nothing in here. There's no shots in here that you'd want on a poster.
There's it's very puppet heavy, isn't it, in Jabba's palace? Which is, all
but then
right.
the cantina is. But it feels like they're trying to do the cantina again. My daughter wandered through whilst when they're having the little fight above the Sarlacc.
The CGI Little Shop of Horrors Sarlacc, yeah.
Yeah, and Han falls, and he's hanging by his toes. And he's like hanging by his toes, and then Chewie comes and puts his arms around and grabs hold of him. And my daughter went, "So is he meant to be actually hanging by his toes from a ledge then?" Because I don't think that's possible. And I'm like,
no, I don't know. Why didn't his feet fall out?
Unfortunately, that does look like that's what he was. For a second there, he's hanging by his toes.
Have you heard the story about, he's shooting at the Sarlacc, isn't he, to let go of Lando?
Yeah, a little higher.
Have you heard about this supposed fan theory? And he says, I thought you were blind. He says, don't worry, I can see. I'm better this way. Have you heard about this theory?
No.
Some are saying that he's force sensitive, and because he can't see, he's using the force himself to guide his laser. And I'm like, no, I think it's just a hokey bit of writing from back in the day. Sarlacc was less terrifying. Now it's got a big tulip head sticking out the front. I'm gonna upset the entire fandom here, Rob. The wonderful master bounty hunter that we've all loved for 40 years, Boba Fett, he's just a bit crap, isn't he? He does a fairly good grappling hook around Luke, and then he gets whacked on his backpack and he goes down the Sarlacc pit, and I'm like, it's just...
my daughter was around then as well. She went, is that it for Boba Fett then? So Boba Fett dies, that's it. And I was like, well, at that point, until the new show, as far as we were concerned, yes, that was it. And she went, well, I thought he was meant to be like some big, cool bad guy. And I'm like, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Why is he a big, cool bad guy, she asked me.
He looks cool.
What
about on that barge, whatever it's called? And it's like, right, Jabba is Luke, your final chance to give up now. And then it's like, looks over to Lando, obvious nod. And he's like, R2, obvious nod. And I thought, oh dear.
That bit's in, you have to watch the Family Guy bits.
Oh, is that
bit, it's got that little musical cue, and he looks and the music goes dun, 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 and they're all not looking and nodding at each other. In the Family Guy cartoon version of it.
I'm going to have to watch that.
They extend that, so there's like about 10 nods at each other.
Really?
That opening bit with Jabba, I wasn't really enjoying that very much. And they kill the Sarlacc, heads off to Yoda, and
wait a minute. What about? I wrote in my notes. I'm gonna make it family friendly. Leia effing up Jabba. I always like that. Choking him with a again. Leia kicks ass. I found quite upsetting, really. Carrie Fisher had next to no lines up until they get to the forest moon of Endor. They can't just say, it's to constantly say that the forest moon of Endor. Oh, look at there! We're hiding behind the forest moon of Endor. They kept going, but I thought Carrie Fisher's had no lines up to this point, apart from the Boosh lines, which I thought work a bit.
Someone who loves you and that sort of stuff. Yeah, she says to Hans after she's taken the mask off. But I didn't think about that until I saw your note about it. And yeah, you're right. It doesn't say a lot. And then he'll just fly off, pick up the droids. And then they go. They go and meet General Medine? Don't they? Used to have a figure of him, and I used to think, what are you supposed to do with the figure of him, the beardy, grey-haired guy?
God, don't know.
Did Yoda wait for Luke to die? That's poor timing, that is, isn't it?
Do you reckon he's like, Jesus, I'm on my deathbed here. When's he coming back? When's Luke getting back? What about? I keep. Robin, all of my notes I wrote the Master, and I think it's because every time Darth Vader sees him, he's on his knees and he's like, "What is thy bidding, my master?" The Emperor's got a fabulous chair. I reckon his chair is the best chair in anything, even better than Thanos' chair, because I know Thanos loves his chair, doesn't he? That's a cool chair.
Yeah, do you think would you like one of those chairs?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I look like the Emperor as it is, so sat in a chair, I reckon I could be pretty happy with that. His kind of wrinkly faced makeup. Yes.
Because he's got a bit, his eyes are a bit yellow and his cheeks are a bit droopy and he's got a bit of a bump on the top of his head. Watching this in chronological order, I don't feel that they needed to make his face go like that straight away after that Mace Windu fight.
Oh, not at all.
I would have just accepted this as just like, 20 years later, or whatever it is, almost 20 years later, he looks kind of different because of some stuff that's gone on in the last 20 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I don't feel they needed to do that.
So, Biker Scouts introducing to Ewoks. How did you feel all about that?
I don't know, it's because I was expecting the Ewoks to be so bad. Actually watching this, finished the second half of it just before recording this, actually, and then watched the other half yesterday.
Yeah.
They didn't kind of get on my nerves, really. I just kind of accepted that they were there. Speeder bike chase, I thought the green screen looked dreadful. What it reminded me of is when we went to Harry Potter World and the kids could pretend to be riding on a broomstick or something like that, and you get a photo taken. Especially there's a shot like facing front of them, like you're in front of them, and the trees are whizzing behind, and they're obviously pretending that they're on a speeder bike. Yeah, so it didn't look good. But something cool about the idea of these super fast bikes, but the back projection on it is.
But again,
distracting.
When you look at it from their POV point of view, it's like trees constantly in your way, so you'd always be moving left to right. But there's so many scenes where it's like going along, looking across at the person opposite me. And it's that driving a car in a film.
It's not remotely practical in a forest moon of Endor.
No.
That you would go as a form of transport through this forest.
A mega fast.
A 200 mile an hour bike.
It's fine on the salt flats of Tatooine, isn't there? But not in a forest. Tons of things you can smash into. The C-3PO as a deity was always good. It was.
Is it?
Yeah.
When he goes, I didn't know I had it in me. So C-3PO thinks he could lift it. He has what? He thinks he might have force powers. Does he, or something?
No. But I quite like the conceit of the fact that he's a gold robot and all the Ewoks just.
To be honest, all that sort of stuff, and they're trying to cook Han Solo and stuff. It's all like that's fairly fun and it's okay.
Yeah, I thought the breaking into and taking over the force field projecting tower that went on way longer than I remembered. I always remembered them slightly attacking it, then Chewie turns up in the Scout Walker, and that was it. But that actually went on for quite a while, didn't it?
Yeah, because they go in and take it over, but then they realise that's a bit of a ruse and they let them take it over too easily, and so they then get captured. Then there's a bit of a fight, and then they do a ruse to get the bad guys out of the again. There's Chewbacca doing that Tarzan.
Don't.
Why didn't they cut that out? In the special edition, they could have cut that out.
I don't
Everyone
like that
hates
at all.
that, surely.
It's but of course they redid it in episode 3, didn't they? Is it episode 3, episode 2? When
they're doing when you're on the Kashyyyk.
Yeah.
But it's not. Well, in Jedi, it's a straight up Tarzan, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's. Oh, I don't like that. Do you know what I did like? I did like Vader meeting Luke. I thought that was a really good.
When there's just the two of them having that conversation. Yeah, that's one of the best scenes. That's one of the best scenes in the film. There.
Just really good.
Because you're projecting onto Vader, aren't you? Because it's fairly calm there. You've seen him normally, a bit more directly trying to kill everybody in the way of Luke. So he's actually got Luke there, and I'm thinking, is he just scheming? Is he thinking, I'm going to turn you over to the Emperor? The other thing is, he must be aware that the Emperor wants him to get rid of him.
Well, exactly.
Yeah, so basically, if I take my son, turn him to the dark side, I'm basically out of a job because he's just replacing me with my younger model.
Who was it? I do apologise, Rob. One of our friends and listeners messaged me and said, what would it have been like if Vader had taken Luke under his wing, Luke had agreed to it, they got rid of the Emperor, and then they Luke sort of tempered Vader and got him to become better or even good, and then they could have ruled the galaxy like that, or not even ruled it, but
Well, if he'd have turned Luke to the dark side, then you just got another bad guy again.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about turning Vader good as Luke, really. I don't think Vader can come that way. To be honest, actually watching this, I think they're a bit too forgiving on the whole, saving his soul.
I like
especially reading the comics, and you think about some of the mass slaughtering he's been doing in between these episodes.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's easily. It's like, I'm a father, you can do really good, apart from the amount of people that have died in ship raids and all that stuff. I like the it's a trap, it's the space battle above the new Death Star.
Because when all the ships, and I like the music in that scene as well. So when all the ships just come in to start doing battle, and the TIE fighters suddenly all come flying over, and the whole screen's full of TIE fighters.
That's pretty cool.
Because I don't normally like space battles, but I do quite like that bit, and I do quite like the bit when they're flying through the unfinished Death Star, flying underneath the pipes and stuff like that, and Lando and Nien Nunb piloting
tight
it.
space flight. There's a bit where Luke first meets the Emperor, and it had me chuckling because I forget exactly what the dialogue is, but basically the Emperor says, soon you will give in to the dark side, and Luke says, no you won't, no I won't, your Death Star will fail. And then the Emperor goes, no you will fail. Then Luke says, no you will fail, and it's kind of like, no you're the no you are, no you are.
all of their scenes are like that though, aren't they? Because they just keep saying these soon you'll be going to the dark side. Oh no, cut to see what the other people are up to, and then it keeps cutting back, and
it's like that as kids. Why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself? That kind of thing. It was fine, it's, and then you've got the stop motion scout walkers back on Endor. Stop motion scout walkers, that all gets sort of. I've got to say, the second half of the film, it sort of rattles along. Because you got the space battle, then you got the battle on Endor again, which I know the Ewoks aren't great, but it's kind of okay. I like the Rebel Commandos. There's a character in there. There's a guy with a white beard that I'm not sure if it's canonically correct, whatever the word is, that some people reckon it's Captain Rex from the Clone Wars cartoon. Really? Oh.
Age-wise, it would kind of suit, perhaps.
Did you tick off your list when Vader gets his hand chopped off as another limb?
I did, yeah.
Brilliant. So,
my limb bingo card.
Yeah, the attack on the Death Star was good. I'm a big fan, Rob, of any spaceship run, if you will, where tight space, things where you and then the TIE fighters are hitting the walls and that's to go through all that
and
sort of stuff,
spinning out of control and exploding, and
then it's going in, and then it's you're escaping and the fire is behind him, and then you kind of spit out the explosion. That was really good.
The other thing with these films, actually, which we've not really mentioned with watching this original trilogy, but all the sound design is so brilliant and so iconic. Is it Ben Burt that did it?
I don't know, but it's
because it's just like
fantastic.
the sound of the TIE fighter, the sound of Chewbacca, the sound of the Falcon, the lightsabers,
smashing off the Falcon's radar dish at the top.
All these sounds which are so recognisable and so iconic now. And the guy that just did them all for episode 4 originally for New Hope, and some of those, it's the same sound effects for the continuity. Of course they've got to be the same ones, but they were so good that they've kept them all. And it's all that sort of stuff. I mean, the lightsaber fight in this is okay, but it does pale compared to the Empire Strikes Back
That's
one.
the problem, isn't it? I suppose when you've had a year's wait from watching Empire to then watching Jedi, but when you've had a week's wait and it's quite fresh in your mind of how good Empire was, it isn't as good as it.
Well, Vader seems to get taken down a bit too quick. And the other thing is like, perhaps it's meant to be like this, but isn't Luke basically giving into hatred all the time here?
Yes,
he tries to kill Emperor first, and then it's him getting angry where he overpowers Vader.
Yeah, because he's just whacking him, isn't he?
Yeah, and Vader even actually says during the duel, he says something about Obi-Wan has taught you well, and it's like Obi-Wan gave you one lesson in the Falcon with a blast shield and a little probe droid thing.
Or was he Force Ghost training him for some time on Dagobah?
Yeah, well, Yoda giving him a bit of showing how to lift up rocks and do somersaults, but who's he had lightsaber
Did you
training
watch
from?
that Seagull's Stop that I sent you last week?
Oh, no.
You've got to watch that. It's fabulous. So, yeah, the redeeming, the Emperor, giving it the old electric powers. That's all fine. That's all fabulous.
Oh, I didn't notice, and I'm not sure if this is not a cinema special edition, was when they changed the Sy Snootles band, but the Blu-ray version.
Right.
Have you noticed now? Well, the Ewoks blink.
I didn't actually.
Yeah, that's different. And Vader says a no when he picks up Emperor. That wasn't there before, was it?
Oh, yes.
No.
Yes. As in, I remember. No, that was the Padme. Where's Padme? No, yeah. Frankenstein thing. I was like,
but he does it in this. I'm
with you, Rob. I think
that wasn't there before.
I think that's an add-on. So, leading on from that, what do you think of the CGI celebrations around the well-known areas?
Yes, I remember with this when because when the special editions came out at the cinema, you're looking forward to the prequels that had announced that were coming out. So when they showed things like Naboo, it was, oh right, these are locations that we're going to see, and you see Coruscant, don't you, with the Jedi Temple? Yeah. So it was quite cool that you're getting to see all these places. So they changed the music for that as well, because that's not the old music, is it?
But again, the Death Star has barely been blown up.
Everyone's cheering.
Of minutes. Now, is that a thing where in the age of information, like now, if
instant, everyone's getting on, opening their phones. Emperor dead.
Yay, brilliant. I don't know how I feel about it. I didn't really like it that much. The sort of city, worldwide.
Well, because I suppose maybe Naboo would be alright, but Coruscant, surely Coruscant is still being overrun by Imperial guards and stormtroopers, and it's like a mess. So they're not going to go, yay! It's not really going to change dramatically for them, is it?
Thousands of I don't know. I don't know why, but I'd got it into my head that they'd CGI'd Vader with his helmet off, but they hadn't had it. He was the original actor there.
Yeah.
I quite like that. That's good. Let me see you once with my own eyes. That was pretty good. It's hard to. The only thing is, it's hard to equate that with Hayden Christensen.
As it was him in the armor. So that's difficult.
Also, yet again, taking Vader's body and burning it on a bonfire. They really got a thing, haven't they, for burning bodies in this?
Yes.
Do you think the helmet? Well, obviously it doesn't burn that well, does it? Because Kylo Ren's got it, hasn't he? As his sort of dented helmet.
Yeah, I mean, how Kylo ends up with it. But then also, how the hell does anyone end up with Luke's lightsaber after he dropped it from the Cloud City as well?
Probably found it in a toilet somewhere, didn't they? In a cesspit.
There's an antique shop or something like that.
Yeah, and then we've got CGI Hayden Christensen, Anakin at the end there.
Yeah, and
yeah.
and the three of them, smug as, all smiling at each other, and Obi-Wan smiles and gives him a bit of a turn and like, oh, he's back. It's the old gang back together. Glad to see you, mate. I'm glad you're a Force ghost again. Surely he must take some responsibility for what he's done.
By the way, as I said to my wife, I said, yet again, as we mentioned in Phantom Menace, took away from his mom at the age of 9, told him his crap, his mentor gets killed and burnt in front of him. This that goes on and on and on. Do you reckon he turned around to Obi-Wan and said, Jesus Christ, man, last time I saw you cut my arms and legs off and left me for dead on the side of a lava pit.
Doesn't seem to. It just smiles. Smiles like, nice being back in the Force.
It's a shame to razz on it because it was.
How could he be a Force ghost? Aren't they setting up this idea that Yoda discovered it because he got a message from Qui-Gon and he was going to teach Obi-Wan to do it? So how does Vader know how to do it?
Is it because he's so strong with the Force?
Have you noticed how we did say this earlier on? Do they keep talking about chosen ones or not? They don't, do they, in this?
No, but I did notice, you mentioned, maybe it's in Attack of the Clones, that Obi-Wan keeps saying to Anakin, oh, my Padawan, oh, my chosen one. Oh.
Yes.
Did you notice the Emperor kept saying it to Vader and Luke? He's like, come, my apprentice, come, my Sith apprentice, whatever. Come, my young one, my young Jedi. It's that way of talking, isn't it, that they use. Rob, I don't know. I did enjoy it, but not as much as I'd hoped I would enjoy it. It wasn't. I didn't watch it and sort of, oh yeah, I've got to go out, run out and buy some Ewok cosplay merchandise.
I should hope it didn't make you think that.
No.
I don't know. It's not as good as.
I'm afraid it's quite low down on my list. We'll have to look at our list actually and give it a.
I'm looking at it now actually.
I mean, for me, it's Empire. Then it was Rogue One. Then probably New Hope. Then Solo.
Yeah.
And then we're getting into the prequels, which.
I mean, is Jedi better than Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith?
I would have automatically said yes because it's original, but I don't know if I did enjoy it as much as those films.
In terms of T-test, this didn't actually pass Lego test for me.
It's okay.
I was actually building something in Lego whilst it was on this evening.
So here we go. For me, watching Empire, I watched it and then at the end of the film, rattled out a load of notes on my phone. During this, I had my phone in my hand quite a lot and I was typing notes out. So
actually, this is a good another sense for that. Yeah, because when I was watching Empire, and there's a couple of things. I need to mention this when we talk about it. I paused the film. I did the note, went back into the film. When I was watching Return of the Jedi, I was just left it going. Yeah, I was watching it on the iPad, and I opened the notes and just left it running and went back into the film. It's really not holding my attention. I think Han Solo's character's got no real story arc or anything in this because you've got all the good chemistry in Empire Strikes Back. Luke's a bit boring in this, I suppose.
Everyone's a bit 80s, aren't they?
Don't like the Emperor. Vader just seems a bit of a crappy old bloke by now. Everything's a bit too cheesy and positive in places.
Yeah.
It's got none of that edge that Empire Strikes Back has, and it's not like a super dark edgy. It's not like David Finch directed it or anything. No. It's not like the new Batman, but it's just could
have done with something, couldn't it?
It's just got a sense in the second of this original trilogy, the sense this is a big upward struggle here for the rebels to take over. They're against ridiculous odds. They haven't got a chance. In this one, everything just seems to go fairly smoothly for them, and everything just felt like they were.
And again,
I don't know what is it about it.
I don't know. Lando betrayed them in the last film, and now he's like a general or something. And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, straight away.
2 minutes. Oh, here's something I wanted to mention. Was this a CGI add-on? You know the bunker when they're trying to get into the shield generator bunker, and R2D2 gets shot.
And he spins across.
I don't remember all these bits flying off and sticking up.
Yeah, they did there. I'm pretty sure they did.
I just didn't remember that from before any CGI twiddling. So that was an original thing. Okay. I didn't notice C-3PO's silver leg this time. I wasn't sure on that.
Anyway. I didn't think about that. What I did think was, how the hell do R2D2 and C-3PO get around on a forest planet?
Yeah, I thought Sand Planet was tough, but this is going to be even worse.
Yeah, I mean, why R2D2 wasn't wheel spinning all over that sand?
Rob, at this sort of drawing a line in the sand here now, how are you feeling about sequels coming up?
I don't know, because it's weird, because Force Awakens, obviously, we loved Force Awakens when it came out, didn't we?
Yeah.
And it's because we'd waited for years for a new Star Wars film, and it was Abrams, and we liked Abrams because what he'd done with Star Trek and stuff. So
I've got good feelings about this. So
watching it in chronological order, a week apart.
Let's see.
I'm not sure about Force. I've not watched Force Awakens for a bit.
If I don't start crying when I see the Millennium Falcon for the first time after 20 years again, then it's lost me.
I will see.
I'm not looking forward to it. I'm not looking forward to Poe Dameron prank calling General Hux in one of the later films, but that's another story for another day. Right, Rob, should we call it a day? Yep.
Yeah, will do.
Folks,
leave it as that.
Yeah, thank you for joining us on our Return of the Jedi episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Please email us in if we're wrong about Boba Fett being a ladies' man, if we're wrong about Sarlacc pits being better CGI'd, if we're wrong about downloading Sy Snootles music off Spotify. I don't know. Drop us a line. It's wehavebeenwatchingpodcast at gmail.com. Over on Instagram, it's wehavebeen at WHBW podcast. And on Instagram, it's wehavebeenwatchingpodcast.
You know what the worst thing about Return of the Jedi is?
Go on.
The bit when that CGI brown character thing that looks like a testicle goes, Rah! And his spitty mouth goes really close to the viewer.
Which bit's that?
During the Sy Snootles song, they've added this extra character, and he does this big open mouth bit. I guess at the time, did they feel like they were Lucasfilm flexing? Look at our ILM, CGI ILM can do now.
Do you reckon he wanted to
watching it now?
Do you reckon he wanted to do it in 3D at one point, and he was like, "Yeah, do that." Awful.
Cool.
Right.
Anyway, on that note,
take care, guys. We'll see you next week for the first of the sequels. We'll see if it all holds up. Take care, guys. See you soon.
Bye.
May the force be with you. See, I still said it. Take it easy. Bye.